Hi, my name is Megan Schmid, and I'm evaluating a famous speech. I'm doing Abraham Lincoln's speech on the Battle of Gettysburg. Abraham Lincoln once said, 7 years ago, our father brought forth on this continent a new nation, and conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a large sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here, dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which we gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people shall not perish from the earth. Abraham Lincoln was not the main speaker at the dedication of Gettysburg. It was by the main speaker was the politician Edward Everett. He gave a 2-hour speech, and President Lincoln was only invited to follow up with closing remarks, but impacted the nation by his 2-minute and 272-word speech. Lincoln reiterated the principle of human equality by adopting the Declaration of Independence. In Abraham Lincoln's first line of speech, 7 years ago, the meaning behind that is a score is 20 years, and 20 times 4 is 80 plus 7. It's 87 years ago that day that the Declaration of Independence was signed. So he redefined the Civil War as a struggle not just for the Union, but principles of human equality. The birth of freedom that would bring true equality to all citizens, from black to white, young to old, even possibly women. Lincoln also Lincoln took his audience on a journey that began with the founding of America and ended in the crossroads at which the county founded itself at the moment. Lincoln inspired people to keep fighting because the Civil War was still going. He put key points in his speech about the war, the people, and the independence. He convoyed ideas, emotional experience, and heightened imagery, which heightened the impact of words. President Lincoln attended the Gettysburg address for the whole nation. He was not commemorating Union victory or belittling the Southern cause. He was just paying tribute to the nobility of the battle, implying all that concerned were fighting to the notion of freedom and equality. His speech turned the event into rededication of the war efforts to preserve a nation of freedom. The Gettysburg Address was a speech that lasted a lifetime and beyond. People are still talking about it in history classes, history books, on TV. They're reevaluating everything about this speech. He had 5 different papers with different portions of the speech. So he was definitely very precise and straight to the point on it, and he was really well organized. In his 2-minute speech, he captured the nation's attention and reinforced American beliefs that our country would deliver freedom that would bring true equality to all citizens.